to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning. Yes, please stand and join us.
Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've done to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Good morning, Unity Renaissance. To those that are here in the sanctuary, to those that stayed home and streaming, good morning to you too. We are grateful to be here, and we are grateful that Reverend Richard is back on the scene again. My name is Ardell McCoy, and I'm going to be serving as the ministerial host for this morning's service. We do have a special someone that's here, but Valerie Winters will be introducing that person a little bit later in the service. So we're looking forward to something really special today. Unity practices a positive, progressive approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus and affirmative prayer. And as we know, Jesus knew that he was a spiritual being having a human experience. And he was here to help us realize that we too could empower that So that's all that's here, uniquely expressing as each and every one of us. And so we're here, and we come here so that we can be reminded of who and whose we are. So we know he was a master teacher, and we know that the word that he continued to give is continuing to flow into and around each and every one of us. So I'm grateful to be here today. So let's get started. We know that we have here a vision statement because we are empowered to think of ourselves as people with a vision. So together, let's recite it. A spiritually awakened world living in peace, love, and joy. And we accomplish that through our mission statement, which is, we transform lives that transform the world. And so this is who and what we are. We are life transformers. So if you'd like to soften your eyes, relax, I'd like to do a little opening prayer. How very grateful I am to be here this morning. How grateful I am to wake up and to know that there is one life. That life is God. That is my life. That is your life. But that is the only life. There is no two here. There is no divinity. There's a unity, a oneness. And that oneness, as I speak the word, is God uniquely expressing itself as each and every one of us, shot from the cosmic consciousness of this power and presence that we call God, that I call God. And I'm knowing that as I stand here feeling that strength, that all at one meant, whatever my word is, it is so. So I claim this service blessed. I claim this service great, grand, and glorious. I claim the minister that is going to do the talk today is imbued with that heavenly sense of elevated consciousness to bring forth the word. And we're going to hold a high watch for him as he delivers it today, the first time he's at this podium. And I know that he is blessed and will be a blessing to each one of us. I know that our illustrious choir and band here, we are so grateful that they are here to bring forth the music to elevate us each and every morning. The ministries here that volunteer their time to come in and to make this place presentable so that we can walk in and bask in the energy that we each bring to this sacred sanctuary. I'm so grateful to be a part of it, so grateful to acknowledge it, that it's here. I'm knowing that this auction that's coming up will bring in all that is desired, and everything will be sold. There are no leftovers. I'm knowing that it's all good because this is the word that's being spoken. And since I and the Father and I are one, then it cannot come back void. Knowing this, feel good about this. I know each one of us is a blessing as we bring our consciousness to this magnificent sanctuary. And I'm going to say, I release the word spoken into the law of divine activity. It cannot be turned void. It has to come back because it's been spoken. I claim it as the absolute truth, and so it is. Amen.
Is it just me, or do you not want for Ardell to finish praying? Isn't that something else? Whew. So it is.
Let's all stand. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Whenever we're together, this is why we're here, to serve the world and one another. We're being called to find a higher way, and to remember why we're here today, to love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Where we grow and we find the truth that always sets us free, and this is where we play and enjoy like-minded company, a place where we can share our joy and pain. a place where everybody knows your name as we love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember who we are.
This is where we do our divinity salute. So if you would look at your neighbor, give them a bow or a hug, and recite the divinity salute, the divine in you.
For the glory of God. And in remembering to love and serve, we're transforming lives that transform the world when we love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember who we are. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember who we are. And remember who we are. And remember who we are.
I love that. A place where we grow and play and where everybody knows our name. In case you don't know mine, I'm Gail Boynton, and I'm your platform host for today, and I am happy to share the daily word with you today. The word today is healing. Please join me in our affirmation together. My faith is making me well. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore's healing journey began when she changed her mind. Inspired by the words of a healing practitioner, she took this affirmation to heart. I love this one. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. After 2 years of persistent health-affirming meditation, prayer, and practice, Myrtle was healed. Her faith made her well. Myrtle Fillmore lived joyously and vigorously for many years. I take inspiration from this story. I too am a living expression of God. I feel my body's quickening response as I claim my inheritance of divine life, vibrantly active in every cell of my body. Good nutrition, exercise, and rest support my healing practice. My faith is making me well. Our scripture verse is from Mark chapter 5, verse 34. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease." If you'd like prayer support today, we have several options. You can fill out a prayer request. Well, yeah, it's a card out there on the table right outside of the chapel. You can go online at unityrenaissance.org, or I guess the app isn't included in that one, but it might be, so check there too. 24/7 Silent Unity, the Unity Prayer Ministry. It's 816-969-2000. And if you're here, we have prayer chaplains who are happy to meet with you. They'll be in the chapel, which is right past the bookstore across the hall. So be sure and stop by and get your support from them. Now, if you would all rise and join us for the Lord's Psalm.
Holy Creator, we praise your name, your will in heaven and earth the same.
just a minute. Just hold on a little bit longer, and then you can hear Lily blow the roof off this place. So, all right. I'm Valerie Winters. I'm your board vice president, and I have the privilege and honor of introducing our transitional minister this morning. Okay. After many months of interviews and talking to the staff, we interviewed several very well qualified candidates. We taped the interviews, we allowed the staff to watch it, we got feedback from the staff, and it was a unanimous decision by the board with the support of the staff that Reverend Richard Bunch was the best choice for us right now at this place and time. Just a little bit of background on him so you know he's kind of qualified, we think. But just in case you're not familiar with Richard, he began his Unity career at El Paso in Texas, where he took a small congregation of about 20 people that had been around for about 50 years and grew it into over 100 with greater diversity. They were financially stable and great inclusivity in their community. Then, after that, he moved to Richmond with his wife, Victoria Bunch. They were co-ministers there. And they, again, with affirmative prayer practices, a lot of SEE classes and teaching, they again took a high-tech approach and a community involvement approach, and they grew that one in diversity, increasing the diversity of their congregation there by 30%. Then, in case he hadn't made a big enough impact on Unity, he moved on to serve on the board of trustees at UWM. He's been a treasurer, president. He's served on the prosperity team at UWM. He was also a co-presenter in the 2015 conference that UWM hosted on growing inclusive and intergenerational ministries, which I know speaks to some of the people here who are looking to get a greater involvement of all of our ages and improving our diversity. He teaches SEE classes and has been on the staff of Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute faculty. He's currently on the core educational team. He's participated in SEE weeks that we've had here. I've taken classes with him. I've taken classes with Victoria. Trust me, if you have an opportunity to take a class with Richard, jump on that opportunity. He's a very good teacher. Okay. Then him and his wife, Vicki, they have 4 children, 6 grandchildren, and a puppy. Don't want to leave the puppy out. So we feel confident that he is the right man, the right time for Unity Renaissance to take us to the next level through this transition phase from Paula to whatever is next in our future. And he may open our eyes to things we haven't even thought of yet. Because we dream big here at Unity, and I'm sure he's going to help us keep us on our focus. And right after Lily sings, he's going to give his first talk here at Unity. And on the 19th of February, there is going to be a meet and greet with Richard after the service. You can get to know him better. And if you've got questions about the transitional process, how that's going to work, what his role is, and that kind of thing, he's going to be there to answer those questions in even more detail than we've already been able to as a board, because that's what he does. So, welcome, Richard.
stand tall, 'cause I believe Something greater has come alive inside of me. I have felt the Spirit stirring in my soul, deep in my soul. I will give love, I will speak peace, all because of the love that's got a hold of me. So wide open, so amazing, it takes my breath away when it occurs to me. In a world where so many feel lost, I know God. I am one, but I'm not alone. When I'm with you, I am home. Side by side, we find the truth. When the Spirit in me meets the same as you, I have felt this fire burning in my soul, deep in my soul. I will give love, I will speak peace, all because of the love that's got a hold of me. So wide open, so amazing, it takes my breath away when it occurs to me. In a world where so many feel lost, I know God. I will give love, and I will speak peace, all because of the love that's got a hold of me. So wide open, so amazing, it takes my breath away when it occurs to me. In a world where so many feel lost, in a world where so many feel lost, in a world where so many feel lost, I know God. I know God.
Lily Scott, everybody. She knows God.
I'll be with you in a second. Aha, there we go. Well, good morning. Good morning. I'm Richard. That's Reverend Richard. I'm really glad I got the standing ovation before I spoke. I just want to share a little story with you that I thought was cute that I found the other day. St. Peter was at the Golden Gates and he wanted to break. He needed to go over for a while and rest for a little while. So he said to Jesus, would you take over? And Jesus said, well, what do I do? And he said, well, just stand there and then ask the person, tell me about yourself. And after that, you can decide whether to let them in or not. Oh, I can handle that. So Jesus is standing there for a few minutes, and this really older fella comes up. And Jesus said, tell me about yourself. And he says, well, I really am sad because I lost my son at a very young age. And he wasn't really my son, but I felt like he was my son. And I spent my years as a carpenter. And when my son passed away, I just couldn't get over it. But now I am asking to get some relief and some rest. Jesus looked at him and said, Daddy! He looked back at Jesus and said, Pinocchio! It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But anyway. So, you know, oops, let me get this. There we go. It takes a minute, but it's supposed to work. Thank you. I need all the help I can get. Dare to awaken. And that's what I want to do, is dare you to awaken and continue to awaken and continue to awaken. Sometimes we think it's a one-time thing. I'm awake, and yet we live in our journey, we are able to awaken many times, and that's what the growth, spiritual growth, is all about. But when we awaken, there is a part of who we are that changes. Eckhart Tolle, who was the author of The Power of Now and a couple other books, said, when I was awakened, when I came into an understanding of who I am, I walked around the city in utter amazement at the miracle of life on earth as if I'd just been born. Anybody here felt that way? Yeah, I'm sure. I know I had. And, you know, there's really no set way, so to speak, to have a spiritual awakening except the signs of who you are and how you show up change. There usually is increased inspiration. You feel better about yourself. You feel better about life. You're beginning to go, aha, I'm something different than I thought. I'm just not this human being. I am more than that. Now, you keep that to yourself for a while because some people might think you're a little crazy, especially if you get into the depth of it. And then there's this ability that inside you know something has changed. When I was in El Paso, and I've had many spiritual awakenings. I had a spiritual awakening as a Baptist and as a Presbyterian and then as a Congregationalist and then in Unity. And when I had this spiritual awakening, I kept it to myself, and I was still working. I was at the workplace, and a fellow that I worked with, who was probably 75 years old, great guy, said, Richard, I want to have lunch with you today. And I said, well, okay. And he said, I'm going to take you. And I said, okay. Really okay. And so anyway, we went to lunch. We sat down. We made our order, and he looked at me and said, what's happened to you? You've changed. And I'd been going to Unity for about 3 months. And I had changed, and I was changing. So others can see it, feel it, experience in you, and understand that something's changed within you. You also have this desire, I believe, to want to make the world a better place. Part of your vision, making the world a better place. It just comes. It comes with the idea, with this inspiration, with this awakening to who and what you are. And there's willingness to love and give without expectation. One of the things I've noticed in Unity is that some people have they have issues in their lives that they need to deal with. And sometimes they are estranged from a father, mother, a child, whatever. And one of the first things they want to do is to figure out, how do I bring that relationship back together? And I have had lots of people ask me that. And it depends upon the circumstance. But most of all, what you do is you see yourself and that person in relationship in a positive, loving way. That you're going to love them into a relationship. And so that makes a difference in how we show up, and people feel it, and members feel it. We also, and you've done this extremely well, is lose our interest in drama. I'm not talking about the arts. Okay? I'm talking about the drama that we seem to experience and sometimes want to experience and sometimes want to continue because people feel sorry for us. I'm talking about the drama that says, I am a victim. I am been, why? Because I haven't done anything wrong. I do not understand this. Why is God doing that to me? Well, we know God up there isn't doing anything to you, right? That you are correct, that you have the power within you, you have lots of powers, in order to complete and be whole and understand who you are and show up and demonstrate that in your life. And then there's this idea that I said, the loss in drama. There's also the feeling, again, that something has changed, that you want to make a better world, that you want to love and give without expectation, that you lose interest in the drama in your life. All of those things are signs that you have spiritually awakened. There was a person who said, at the time I found myself feeling like an alien, the material side of things were gone, and I was living in a world seeking spirituality and truth. I felt an unconditioned and overwhelming love. If for a time I felt judgmental of others, I was able to look inward and find compassion and understanding for them. My thoughts were on a higher plane, and for the first time, I felt like my life truly had no limits. Unity Renaissance, has no limits. Now, I happen to think you got the best music program in Unity, right? And how blessed we are. Wow, I mean, how can you feel down after that, right? It's hard to do. And I'm sure somebody does, but it's hard to do, okay? And so whatever this thing is about, spiritual awakening, spiritual experience, enlightenment, psychic change, rebirth, nobody can exactly tell how that affects a person and how it creates this new sense and definition for life. Only you feel it, but it's contagious and it's beautiful and you know it. Now, the other thing I want to do here is introduce somebody that's been mentioned already, and this may take a long, there it is. Okay, now, talking about being awake, this is Maisie, okay? And, I don't have a picture of Vicki, so I may eat lunch on the road, hoping she'll forget. But anyway, this is Maisie, and Maisie is now about 7 months old. She was about 4 months old there, 3 months old, and she was awakened. There is nothing that she's not curious about, and still is a puppy. And so she is always waking up to something new and accepting it and being wide open for it. And you and I can do the same thing. But one of the things that happens as we move along is this thing called spiritual bypass. And what it does is it describes a tendency to use spiritual explanations to avoid complex psychological issues that you might be dealing with. Spiritual bypass says, I'm not really sure I want to deal with that, but I want to feel good. And I can't tell you how many people come to Unity to feel good, and that message didn't make me feel good. I said, I'm not supposed to make you feel good. I want you to walk out feeling good, but I want you to understand there are issues that we need to deal with in our lives, and they're painful sometimes. They hurt sometimes. Sometimes we want to run from them. And so what happened is this word spiritual bypassing really was coined in the 1980s by a transpersonal psychotherapist, that's a mouthful, named John Wellwood. And in his book, Towards the Psychology of Awakening, according to Wellwood, spiritual bypassing can be defined as a tendency to use spiritual ideas and practices to sidestep or avoid facing unresolved emotional issues. When I first came into Unity, I heard a person speak at Unity, and they talked about the idea that if you'll be positive, everything will be okay. And that can be true. But at the same time, having a positive way of being a positive thinker, being progressive, doesn't always mean that you're growing spiritually, especially after you've gotten over the initial experience. What it means is that if I'm not careful, I can bypass the work that I need to do in opening myself up so I can really awaken. As long as you're breathing, there's an opportunity to be awakened. I believe that with all my heart. And that's the people who are awakening, I'm saying. Because we cannot stand in the same place at the same time and have any change take place in our lives. Some of the signs of being into this concept of spiritual bypassing. There is detachment without compassion. I'm detached. And so therefore, I can be centered on making sure that I don't take sides. Right? I don't have to be attached. Well, the thing wrong with not being attached to somebody is that you're not empathizing with them. You're just looking at them as an object, trying to be as objective as you can. And yet, when you're too objective, and I've experienced this in ministry, as a minister, talking about myself, whereby I'm so objective that I don't want to get on either side of the issue because I want them to decide what to do. And if it's a delicate issue, then what happens, they don't feel any compassion coming from me. And then that translates into, I'm not really sure that you care. And our job with each other is to care, to show up. There's also this avoidance of uncomfortable feelings. And what we're talking about there, sorry guys, what we're talking about is the avoidance of uncomfortable feelings. What we're talking about here, especially in meditation, you know, when I was first taught meditation, it's go into the silence and feel good, you know, be there and stay there and don't have any thoughts coming through. I have never been able to achieve that. Now, some people do. Richard doesn't. Because what happens when I go into meditation many times is I start to have these thoughts. If they're repetitive in nature and strong enough, I have to look at that and say, what am I getting? What kind of signal am I getting? What kind of message am I getting during this time of meditation? And sometimes it can be pretty painful. It can hurt. Because what's happening is we're starting to deal with unresolved issues. Things below the conscious. And they come up for us. And so meditation is a tool for healing, as well as a tool for being calm. What happens in meditation is I can look more objectively at myself and compassionately at myself as I deal with an issue that is a core value that's no longer serving me. And that is part of awakening. And people run from that. Because you see, there's not supposed to be any pain. There's not supposed to be any discomfort during meditation. The other thing is that we come up with this idea of weaponizing our meditation practice. Claiming, and I've seen this happen, claiming superiority or righteousness over those who don't share your practice. Boy, I got some mumbles there. And so what happens, and I've had a few friends go through this. It's not something they stay in, thank goodness, if they're willing to really look. But they go through this when they, you know, I had a friend who said, I meditate an hour every morning now. Every morning I meditate an hour. And you need to start doing the same thing. I can't meditate an hour every morning. I know, I'm a minister. I'm supposed to be able to meditate for hours. Can't do it. Sometimes I can meditate an hour and a half, 2 hours. Sometimes I can meditate for a day. But generally speaking, 20 to 30 minutes is about all I can manage in that morning. Because the other thing I do is I set intentions. I set intentions after I meditate. How do I want to show up today in this situation. I look at my schedule. What's coming up? If it's a difficult meeting, how am I going to show up? How am I going to be spiritually awakening during that time? And when I'm able to do that, then what happens is I can literally manage my day so that I can stay, hopefully, in spiritual consciousness rather than ego consciousness. And all of us can do that. Now, as we look at these thoughts, okay, what happens is that there is a process that we go through, and that process kind of looks like this, I think, as it comes up. Aha! This is a cognitive triangle. Some of you may have seen it, some of you have taught it, some of you have been a student to it, but basically this is simplified, that we have thoughts. We all have thoughts. Now, can you tell me where your thoughts come from? I can't tell you. I don't know where my thoughts come from. Some of them I wish didn't come up. But they do. Where do they come from? We don't know. But somewhere, and I happen to think it's in the energy of the universe, that our thoughts come up. Then what happens, you see, is those thoughts turn either into behavior or feelings. Usually they have feelings to them. When you accept the feelings of your thought, they will then direct you in your behavior. If you are spiritually awakened, you will take the opportunity to grow yourself and find out what is it I'm supposed to do, what's attracting me, and what am I attracted to. On the other hand, if I am more in my ego, my thoughts are going to say, how do you get even? How do you get that person out of my life? How do I deal with this situation, this drama that took place for me? And there are answers to that, but generally what happens, then our thoughts become thinking, and we think the same thoughts over and over and over again every day. When we think our thoughts that way, there's no room for change. We're stuck. But what we can do is we can open our hearts so that's not a problem. And Deepak Chopra, many years ago, wrote about a way and a technique to do this. And I do want to share it with you for a second. And that is to take the opportunity to slow down. The illustration he uses, all of us are set at a railroad crossing. They still have those today. And you sit there and this train is coming by, just speeding by. And then it starts to slow down. Let's say it's a coal train, many kinds of coal cars, okay? And what happens is that as it speeds by, you can't see in between the cars. They all look like one to you. Then it starts to slow down. Then you know there's something on the other side of the tracks. And then it slows down a little more. And then you get more of a picture. And you see cars on the other side. And then when it slows down totally, you have the time to think about, because you've got a gap now, wide enough in your thinking, to think about something that can help you grow and mature. That's being in the gap. Professional athletes want to understand what it is to be in the gap. People who are spiritually awakened understand what it is to be in the gap. We've got to slow down. We've got to slow our thinking down so we can come up with a new thought, a new idea, and imagine something different. And so as we're caught up in this, what happens is we begin to understand ourselves. And the way we do this is we look at our screen of life. And what is our screen of life? It's how you show up. Each of us have a different screen of life because we've all had different interpretations of what's happened to us, even though it may look like the same thing. And so we slow down, and as we slow down, we then start to be able to look at our screen of life. When I look at my screen of life, what I'm looking at is how am I showing up? What kind of effect am I having on other people in my relationships, in my family, in my community, in our ministry? How am I showing up? And if you don't like the way you're showing up, you can change it. You can change your behavior because you now are awake. And as you are awake, what happens? We become aware. We become aware of how we're showing up, and then we set the intention of how I don't want to show up. I set the intention of how I want to show up, is what I mean to say. I don't like the don'ts. So how can I show up? The next thing is we then know that we need to be awake. And that means that we need to be alert to what's going on in the moment. You see, when I set an intention of a meeting that might be difficult or could be difficult, what happens is that I am able to know when defensiveness, when lack of compassion, when drama starts to take place. And when I recognize that because I set the intention, it's like a miracle. I just step back to my intention. And I can show up in that intention, as that intention, and make a difference. So our screen of life tells us how we want to show up. And then the next thing is to be creative. I cannot be creative when I'm stuck in the past. I cannot be creative when I think and believe that I know the truth, and the truth I know is the capital T truth. Think about that. It's knowing the truth at such a level that you've trained yourself to know the truth and believe the truth that keeps you from finding further truth in your life. And we all do this sometimes. I got the answer. You know, my description of God today is so much different than it was when I came into Unity, so much different than it was when I was in ministerial school, so much different than it was when I first went to Unity of Richmond. God is either growing or I'm growing in my understanding of God. And I can't answer which it is. And then don't live in the past. And I'm saying this to each of you because you guys have a great, great, great past, and you know it. You have phenomenal ministry here. I'm going to promise you I'm going to do everything I can not to mess it up. Okay? That's not my intention. You guys are so blessed. But what can happen is because of the past being so wonderful with Paula and the other ministers you've had here, each stepping up a notch, each seeing Unity of Renaissance for what it can become, that you might think this is who we are. But we are never, ever our past. We are, in the now moment, understanding what we need to do to create our future. And you can do that, and I know that. And then, let's go to this last slide here, I think. Well, this is the last slide. Because it says it. What I want to do is dare you to be more awakened. There's nothing wrong with the way you are now. But when we are more awakened, boy, our lives take on a different dimension. When I retired from Unity of Richmond, I thought, I'm going to retire, and I'm going to take it easy for a few months, and I did. And then I got bored with myself. And I said, what can I do? And all of a sudden, a friend of mine called and said, you ought to think about being an interim or a transitional minister. Well, I knew what that was. I've heard terrible stories about how they operate. I said, why me? And then I took a course, and I took another course online, and all of a sudden I felt this calling into what I'm doing today. I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. I'm still healthy. I'm still excited. I still believe that the unity message and the message of New Thought is the most powerful message on the planet. And I want to see that more, demonstrated more on the planet, because we have the ability to bring that about. When will it happen? I don't know. Maybe the next person that joins Unity is the tipping point for that change. Who knows? But there is this opportunity to make a difference, to be awake, and I know that you are the power that can make that happen. God bless and thank you. take this moment to go into that place called the Spirit on high. And as we do that, we become aware in this very moment of the stillness. And we become aware that it's during this time that I can ask, how do I awaken to the next level of beingness? How do I feel no sense of separation, but all oneness? How do I love unconditionally? How do I forgive unconditionally? And as we understand ourselves, as we awaken into this moment, we know the presence of the I Am is within each of us. That each of us are having this individualized spiritual experience that brings us into each other's presence. That's meant to touch our hearts, to touch our souls, and to allow Spirit to be in charge. And so for a few moments, sit in the silence and allow whatever comes to you to come to you. Embrace it. As you sit in this moment, you may not be getting the answers, but you're getting an idea of something that you want in your life that will take down any walls of separation so that you are exhibiting and being understanding and compassionate love. Take that with you this morning. You are the love that is to show up in the world. You are the love that's to show up with your family. You are the love that shows up here as Unity Renaissance. And so as you come to this moment, this now moment, as you open your eyes, you know that you are bringing this love with you. And so it is. Namaste.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
A real unity welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so now it's time. I will giving time. There's ways to donate to Unity Renaissance. You can see it on the screen here. You can donate by texting GIVE to
540-418-1228. Text now. Yeah.
So you can do it that way, or you can download the Tithely app and donate through Tithely. Okay? So will you join me in the love offering blessing? Together? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am blessed.
Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Press down, shake it together, running over. Back in good measure, it's given back to you.
It's a great song from John Stringer about building community and welcoming everyone and everything in. I find the truth and find me anew, a truth beyond what you may see now. When we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself, or where you come from here, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow, feeling in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself, or where you come from here, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Reverend Rich, we're going to ask you to stand up so we can sing this to you now. Ready? Welcome to love.
Welcome to love.
Welcome to peace.
Welcome to peace.
Welcome to our community.
Welcome to our community.
Be who you are. your light shine.
Let your light shine.
We're so much more when we unite.
We're so much more
When we unite. When we unite. When we unite. When we unite. Richard, you are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
Well, it's time to welcome anyone that is here for the first time visiting. We have a little gift for you, so if you could just hold your hand up, and there's someone in the center back on the left. Welcome to Unity, and we hope to see you again.
Please keep your hand up so that we can come around. We don't want to lose track of where you are.
I'd like to make an announcement. This is February, it's Black History Month. So there's events going on all over Hampton Roads for the whole month. This Saturday coming at 2 o'clock, I'm a docent at the Chrysler Museum. I'll be giving a tour at 2 o'clock on Saturday on Black artists that are there and Black artwork that's there. So if anybody's interested, the Chrysler Museum is always free. Parking is free. So come on down if you feel like it. I'll be in the lobby at 2 to meet up with you, and we'll take a tour. Shouldn't be more than an hour, according to how long you'd like to stay. So that's that. Okay.
And for our announcements, the Panera team is looking for 3 to 5 more volunteers. The only requirement is that you, one, have a car, preferably have a license.
And insurance.
And insurance, and can lift a box of bread. They deliver on Wednesdays in morning or afternoon bread to those who could use it, and just boxes of bread. And you can check with, thank you, Deb Moorfield, and I thought the number would be up there, but apparently, I have it written down. Come see me after if you need to know. Or she's here. Oh, she's right here. Duh. Thank you, Deb. She says, if any young people want to take over, some of them are ready to retire. So, okay.
Okay, so next Sunday on, February 19th and February 26th, there's a used book sale benefiting the Unitarians and the YOUers who are holding this book sale to raise funds for their spring rallies and retreats. So please think about that and spend some time going through the books.
Coming up on, is it the 13th? I'm afraid I can't see from this distance.
Right, it is.
The Akashic Records meditation with Kathy Lamb will be here in the sanctuary at 6:30 p.m. February 13th. If you're curious about that, if you're curious about the Akashic Records, to kind of help you heal your own soul and release anything that might be keeping you from living your best life. And a love offering will be available at that time.
Ed, you're coming up?
Oh! A special week. This Friday night's the dinner and auction. And I want to invite everybody here, online, family, friends, come to Unity. Starting at 6 p.m., we're going to have the dinner and auction. Again, the doors open at 6. The silent auction starts at that time. Dinner starts at 6:30. And our Unitine YOU dinner auction will be about 7:15 with the live auction starting at 7:30. Again, $5 for dinner. It's a great deal. Oh, and Tony, what are we having for dinner?
Well, Ed, I'm glad you asked, Because the rumors are, and I did a little shopping this morning based on those rumors, that it's everything Italian. So there'll be some of this, and some will have gluten, which is yummy, and some won't have gluten, which is awful. So there'll be that. And then we'll have some of this all slathered in garlic. There's going to be at least 10 sauces. I would imagine some ensalada mista. And I think I heard a rumor about Steve having something up his sleeve.
Steve.
Tony, I'm glad you asked. Tony, I will be making my world famous crock-pot lasagna.
Better make two.
Better make two?
Better make two.
I'll try. Back to you, Ed.
Thanks, and I even heard Don's making some gluten-free. Don?
For those of you who have gluten allergies, we'll have gluten-free crock-pot lasagna.
Awesome. And you know, we're going to have a great auction, too. Okay? Jack, I heard there's some great stuff being donated. What do you have, Jack?
Glad you asked, Ed. There's going to be lots of items and services available in the silent auction and also in the live auction. And you know what? Some of the stuff being donated is brand new, okay? Like this brand new ladies' watch. Make a really nice Valentine's gift for some appreciative lady, wouldn't it? You'd have to outbid me. Charlie, you have something unusual, don't you?
Vinyl is back. And what I've got is needing somebody to hold the microphone. A Pioneer turntable. If you know what 33 1/3 and 78 means, this is all for you.
That takes me back.
There's going to be a lot of cool stuff, and I really guarantee you got to come early. You got to start bidding early because the good stuff goes early. And we're going to have our #1 professional auctioneer, Jack Schoenborn, or Jan Schoenborn is going to be here, and he makes it move fast. So you got to get that card up and get your money out. So y'all come.
Okay, hey, thanks. Again, we have more stuff out in the narthex you can take a look at. We also we'll have many services that are being provided. Some chiropractic visits, man hours are going to be out there. We've got sound baths and lawn aerating and even burger burns and fire pit time. So think about coming, have a great time. If you have things to donate, please bring them by today. We'll have a couple guys out in the drive-thru to pick them up off your car. Just bring them by the church this week during open hours. If you'd like to donate a service, see Reverend Richard McDeasy after the service today. And again, if you would like to bake a dessert or bring a dessert for the young people's auction for those desserts, bring them Friday night. So look forward to seeing you Friday.
Hey, Richard, just so you know, it's not always like this. Well, okay. Shh, shh. We want him to come back. Donna Shannon, our very own, is going to be conducting a new class coming up on Wednesday the 22nd, and it's for 4 weeks on Zoom only. And again, my prescription doesn't go that far, so I'm turning around. Be opened, building a legacy of love in a divided world. And this will apply spiritual principles to diversity models. And I'm really looking forward to this. I'm signing up. She signed up for my class, so I'm definitely signing up for hers. So I hope you'll check this out. A love offering is the only charge, so to speak. And again, it is Zoom only, 7 o'clock at night on the 4 Wednesdays. And she has a special guest on the second one on March 1st. And I'm not going to say who because I don't have the name. But anyway, be sure and check that out. You can sign up on the website or on the app.
And next Sunday, there is a teachers' meeting for anybody that's teaching the youth in the education department. Lunch and childcare will be provided, so it's right after this service.
And next, thank you. Okay, every week, one of the members of the Board of Trustees is a greeter to greet you in the door when they come in, and to hang out afterwards to answer any questions you might have. And I would ask this person to stand, but her name is Gail Boynton. And, well, I'm already standing, so I'll be hanging around either here or out in the narthex if you have any questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'll write it down, get back with you, because I know who to ask. And next week on Sunday, Richard Bunch will be back with us again, and this time his talk will be Dare to Heal. So now that we're woke, we're going to heal. So looking forward to that. By the way, today's message was absolutely perfect, just what we needed. Thank you. And that's our announcements.
So now we will bring in the children. Okay?
We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, walking, we are walking, walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, walking, we are walking, walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God.
Good afternoon, everybody. The children have given us their offertory blessing, so thank you, God, for these wonderful gifts that the children have brought to us.
Good morning, Unity Renaissance. You know what? I'm going to have one of our awesome teachers share with you, because a lot of times our students are sharing the amazing crafts that they're making from their explorations, but we don't know what they explored. So Rosie is going to share that.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Rosie.
Today our theme was caring and how we can share God's love by caring for others in our lives, and we have lots of students who want to share what they did in class today. So we are going to start here with Brooklyn.
Hi, my name is Brooklyn. I learned that a kid in TV was skating on the skateboard rink. It was very big and fat. He was going on his skateboard and he fell. He cried, and it was his 5th birthday. And some teenagers were coming. The teenagers, the mom saw the teenagers, and she was like, "Oh my, the boy, he has to go." But the teenagers walked up to the boy. They found he was nervous, and then they said, "Happy birthday to you," and it helped the little boy skate, and that little boy was autistic like me.
Thank you, Brooklyn. And Audrey first, and then SB.
Our principle today is through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. The old rain stick broke and shattered everywhere, and so I thought I could make a rain stick. So I made one, and I did that to share God's love, like we did in our lesson.
affirmation angel, and mine says, I am awesome, and it's for my grandma.
Today we talked about the 4 agreements, and the first one was being impeccable with your words.
I made an angel, and one is for Brooklyn, and the other one is for my brother Toa.
All right.
Okay,
Is that all I have?
that's it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Oh, no, that's not all we have. Guess what? Remember that announcement we had last week about a very special event that invites all of us to get connected, to not only explore who we are with each other, but who we are as a community? Guess when it's happening? When is it happening, kids? Today! It is happening today at 12:30. So we will be meeting in Meyer Hall. We've got refreshments, we've got activities, and we have an art activity that will be displayed in our church, reflected by all that you created. So thank you very much. And I want to call out, yesterday we had a power outage. We have amazing members in our community. We have a family that contacted me immediately that offered to bring a generator to this church and hook it up. Thank you, Stacy and Angela. Woo. Are you sure you finished?
Let's all stand now, say our prayer for protection and the peace song. Together.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be.